Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to an episode of Where in the Folk. We want to welcome all our Folkers to the episode today. My name's Reed. Over here to my side is beautiful Cecil.
Hello.
Up in the reaches of northern Kentucky, we've got Mr. Foreman and the man they call Tully. And today we are speaking to Jenny Loves Paranormal. That's the show. Jenny, where in the folk are you at?
I am in Southwest Florida. I'm right on the Gulf.
Down on
Jealous.
I'm originally from Florida, but I lived in Ocala, so
Oh, okay, yeah. That's, I think, up towards the top, mid-state.
yeah,
We think they deported him from.
absolutely did. And like we can't have this child running around here. So, so tell us a little bit about yourself. Like, what got you motivated to start investigating the paranormal and everything?
Well, basically, I've always been, very curious about the paranormal, even growing up. I had some experiences growing up as a kid, but not too much. I haven't really seen any apparitions or anything, just heard a lot of noises and voices and things. And it wasn't until I was about 20 years old that I saw my grandmother, who had passed away a few months prior to that. And it just got me, curious as to, was it my brain going crazy, or did I really see her? Like, I need to find some answers, and I need to, just get into this and see what I can find. And I started doing different things, and then I started bringing my investigations to YouTube because I noticed that there was, a lot of paranormal investigators that were uploading their experiences and their videos and stuff on YouTube. So I started doing that, and I literally just started doing it like for fun, like for family and friends and whoever else wanted to see it. Like my mother-in-law, for example, is like a sucker for watching my videos when I go on investigations and things. And my channel just basically took off out of nowhere. So now I'm finding myself doing investigations like 2, 3 times a week because it gets very addicting. But again, it's just something that I've always been curious about. And I'm just now starting to slow down in my life. I've always been very busy. I run online businesses and things like that. So I have more time to do it now. So that's why I do it now, and I love it.
So you mentioned your grandmother, so when you see something like that, is it just like seeing one of us, or was it like a different experience?
That's the thing, because you would think that when you see, a ghost or an apparition, spirit, what have you, that it would be, like translucent or, just ghostly, an apparition. But she was full form, like she was alive, like she was a human. And it was really crazy. And I could never begin to explain how she disappeared, because it was like I just blinked and she was gone. And it wasn't like she was, again, like she was a spirit. It was like she was really there. And she passed away, I think, about 3 or 4 months prior to that. And she
Oh,
was standing next to my daughter, and she was just a few months old, because I had her right after she passed away. And she was standing next to the couch that my daughter was laying on, and I'm guessing to make sure that she wasn't going to roll off the couch, because I had to run out into the kitchen really quick. And when I came back out into the room, that's when I saw her standing there. And it startled me, and I was like, oh my God. And I just like stepped back for a minute, and I blinked, and she was gone. It was crazy.
that
That's
would be insane.
that's definitely motivation.
Absolutely. But I haven't seen her since. And this was like 20 years ago. So
I couldn't handle that. Oh no, I would love to see a ghost, but I know I'll die the instant that I see one and
see,
become
that's my problem. I would love to see, more apparitions or whatever, just to get more confirmation. But it's like part of me is terrified of what I'm gonna see if I see it. But I'm still like down for it. Like I want to see it because I need, everybody wants confirmation, and that's good confirmation. So
yeah.
Well, it may be something kind of like skydiving. You may be scared to death to do it the first time, and then love it when it does happen. So
right, who knew? Yeah.
Yeah, I got hit by a car one time, and I remember thinking, I don't ever want to be hit by a car, but when it happened, I was like, this would be fun to do again.
I don't know about that.
It was a blast the first time around. Let's see if we can get to play out the same way again.
Oh. So when you go out, to do an investigation, do you take like a different, I guess, loadout or equipment every time, or is it you do it suited to where you're going, or how does that work?
Well, I take pretty much all of my equipment when I go. I carry a backpack. If my husband's with me, he carries a backpack. In my backpack, I have, extra devices if I want to do like the necrophonic. I have the K2 meter. I have dowsing rods, all kinds of flashlights, all kinds of shapes and sizes flashlights, batteries. I mean, you name it. And then he's got all of that in his backpack as well as the tripods and things like that. So no matter where we go, we both, we make sure everything's charged up and we pack it back up and we grab our bags and go. And we always bring the same equipment. And a lot of times when we just go out just to go out, we'll still grab our backpacks and put them in the back of the car because like you never know what you're going to stumble
Right.
upon while you're out,
Right. Do you have anything in your equipment that might be a little uncommon or unorthodox that you use, maybe? Or is it?
I mean, not really. I use pretty much a lot of what the other investigators use, but we do have a unique thing with the dowsing rods because I personally have a hard time with the dowsing rods. I can't like stay that still. I always get shaky and they end up moving because of me. So my husband actually kind of rigged up this little contraption where he got like tent stakes that you put in the ground and he would get like Velcro that have the sticky side. So he would put one piece of Velcro on the tent stake and then the other piece of Velcro on the handle of the dowsing rod so
Oh,
that he could just Velcro them together and stick it in the ground and nobody would be touching it. So, they say that the spirits get the energy from the person holding the dowsing rods, but, a lot of people believe that, the ground, the dirt, the earth has a lot of energy itself as well. So we try to use it that way. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I guess it depends on where we are. But I've never seen anybody else do anything like that. I've only seen people hold them. So,
Yeah, I don't even think a lot of teams use dowsing rods today. Like,
no, I mean, they're, like I said, they're just, I guess, untrusted, because the slightest movement, and I mean the slightest movement, them things are moving. So it's really hard
we have
to,
another investigator that comes on the show, Caitlin. Her, well, I guess it's not really a group, but her services is called Unbound Underground. But the reason I think what kind of drove that question, when she goes to these places, she actually sits down and will ghost rot. So like almost like in meditation, we'll just like, I guess, let the spirits guide her hand and then, come back and see if anything's intelligible.
that's cool.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I'm gonna be honest, I did not know that dowsing rods were used a lot in paranormal investigations because I used to play with dowsing rods all the time when I was a little kid. It was just fun to play around with and freak my friends out.
I mean, some people still use them, but some people don't. I prefer to use other things, but we still have them just in case.
Well, I've seen some of the investigations, and just for the uninitiated, and myself included with that, I saw a particular device that was speaking, or you could hear something through that. Do you care to elaborate on? Was that the necro?
The necrophonic,
Yeah.
yes.
What is that exactly?
Okay, so the necrophonic it's a spirit box app that you can get on Apple or Android, iOS or Android. And see, a lot of people are skeptical because they're like, it's an app. Like, how is it going to work like when it's an app? But what a lot of people don't know is that the necrophonic does not ask for your permission to connect to your microphone, your locations, your camera, or anything. So it can't hear what's going on around you. It can't see what's going on. But it does, however, like I have hooked it up to my computer and just looked at the stats and things like that, and there's no actual words inside of this app. It's all just like sounds. There's like maybe 2 or 3 letters put together, but there's a whole giant list of them, like countless list. There's like pitches and tones and all kinds of things in this app. So what it basically does is when you start it up, it radiates those pitches, tones, sounds, and everything like your traditional spirit box. When you start that up, like the radio sweep box, you got the static, the constantly, and that's what the spirits utilize, is the noise or whatever in that static to say what they want to say. But with the necrophonic, does the same thing, but it gives them more tools to be able to create more words or even full sentences. Sometimes we get full sentences. And I was skeptical about it at first. Like, I did so much research on it because I too was like, it's an app, like how? But I can't even begin to tell you the success rate that I have with the necrophonic. Like, on command, answers to questions that I'm asking almost all of the time. They would say my name. Like, one time we were on an investigation about 3 or 4 weeks ago. We were getting ready to wrap up, and I said, I was on the necrophonic, and I said, well, we're gonna get going. If there's anything else that you want to tell me before I leave, make sure you let me know. And clear as day, a male voice came over and it said, "Don't go, Jenny Love." And my husband looked at me and he was like, "That said Jenny Love, clear as day." And I'm like, "Shut up. No, it didn't." Oh my God. Because I was like, that could not have said that. Even though I heard it, I'm like, it had to have been something else. Maybe we just heard it wrong. And when we went back to listen, it was clear as day. It said, "Don't go, Jenny Love." And I was like crapping myself. It was freaky, but we get a lot of really good responses. So it's hard to not, it's hard to say it's fake because I truly don't think it is with the experience that I've had.
Have you ever been in a place that like maybe the stuff didn't work that well because of the energy?
I mean, we have been in locations where, for example, the necrophonic, we wouldn't get very many responses coming through. It would get really quiet every once in a while. You'd get a sound or two. And then we'd be in places where it would be going crazy. Like, you wouldn't even be able to hear what some of them are saying because there's so many words coming through and it's just nonstop. And I mean, the same thing goes with the K2 meter. Obviously, it depends on where you are. The K2 meter, we get areas where it doesn't light up at all, and then areas where it's just lighting up all the time. And we always try to look for explanations like power lines and, things like that to rule out anything that would, make them go off, just to be sure. So.
No, I think that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
That is pretty cool. Like, I feel, do you ever get any kind of like things that sound like something, but for a fact they're false positives? This is because I was editing the last episode that I did. I did an interview with the paranormal Polynesian Adam, and I kept hearing whispers and stuff throughout the whole thing. I've never heard that before. When I've done what, 50 of these so far,
Right.
And there was one point where it sounded like a low guttural sound. Now I'm still convinced that it was just me breathing. Where I'm so fat, I kind of do this. But it's still like, well, I got scared and I started messaging Adam like frantically, like, "Oh my God, man, what is this?"
So just some backstory too. He just got back from Skinwalker Ranch, right?
He was telling the Skinwalker Ranch story when it picked up. It was weird. It freaked me out, and then I was like, on second thought, this is probably just me breathing, so don't worry about it.
Did you ever find out?
No, they said that he said, "Oh no, ghost attached to me," which is true because in one of his videos he's been marked after he got back from Skinwalker, but I don't know, like it still freaks me out, and the sound just wasn't equaled out like most of the time it is. Like, I don't know, it's weird. It's strange. It's strange.
That is weird, yeah.
Oh, I've had a great time with him. I hope I'm going to re-release it, but it's going to take me weeks to fix the audio on it.
So what kind of places? I mean, I've checked out the channel, but is the majority of what you guys investigate like graveyards or
Yeah, the majority, I love graveyards. The older, the better. But we have investigated a few things that are not graveyards. Like we've been to a haunted lighthouse. We have gone randonauting before. And, as a matter of fact, in 2 days, this Monday, I will be going to the Mirador Bed and Breakfast down here in Florida to do an investigation. That's actually the house. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with the music video that Omar and Jody Dean made, the scary, scary one in the haunted house or whatever. That's actually the same house that I'm going to be going to. It's, I guess, very, very active. We got the whole house to ourselves for the night. So I'm going to be doing an investigation there on Monday as well. But yes, my passion is mostly cemeteries. I love cemeteries. I get a lot of really great results in cemeteries.
Full disclosure, I have no idea who you just said that was. Who is that? Omar and who?
Omar Gosh and Mr. Hunting the Dead, Jody Dean.
I don't know.
We'll have to look that
yeah,
up.
we'll have to look. That hasn't made it up to Kentucky yet. He can't break through the Tyler Childers wall.
So has anyone ever reached out to you, like, to do an investigation, like maybe emergency style, frantic about something, and said, "Hey, I'd like you to come check this out"? Has that
I
happened to you?
mean, not really, but recently, a friend of my husband's, him and his wife came on an investigation with us, and that was the first time that I had met them, but they wanted to come because they were curious about things. And she was telling me that they think that something is attached to their son, and I think he's only like 2, maybe 3 years old. I mean, he's little.
Yeah.
And I guess a lot of crazy things happen, like to him and the way he talks and the way he acts and things like that sometimes. So they did ask me if I could like check it out and give my opinion on it. And, I told them straight, I'm like, I'm not like an exorcist or a demonologist or anything like that. Like I'm a paranormal adventurer. Like I don't even really consider myself like an investigator. Like, I go out and I try and seek out the paranormal to find answers and stuff, but that's probably the only request that I've gotten as far as that goes.
Do you think that kid's like still remembering his life before he was reincarnated, possibly?
That could be, yeah, that could be a possibility.
That would be a trip. He's talking like Arabic or something. Like
Yeah.
I'm waiting for my
That
dog.
scared me to death.
But yeah, that when it comes to little kids, anything that I've said it numerous times, anything that children do scare me to death. My nephew does some of the strangest things, and he terrifies me. I'm scared of him to the point to
Yeah,
where
children have like that gift, or I don't know. He wants to be in the video.
he was watching the intro to one of my to our other podcasts that we did, and the Illuminati thing showed up, and he looked at my wife. And he said, "Oh, the Illuminati," and she's like, "What?" He said, "Don't you know about the Illuminati?" What, are you stupid?
And
And
how old is he?
like 6.
Wow.
Yeah. I was like, how do you know about it? He's like, I know.
I don't even think you learn about the Illuminati until like middle school. Something like that. Yeah,
he's-
that's crazy.
He's a wild man. He's got TikTok that's pretty scary too.
Yeah, he's a unique kid, no doubt.
I love him, but he scares me a little. He
So I
acts
think-
much like me, I think, is what it is.
Yeah. I think the difference, I think we're used to investigators so far that we've interviewed actually having, like, you're just a straight up investigator. Like usually, they have some sort of special ability up to this point, I think.
Not me.
You're more like you said, an adventurer, and a lot of these folks that we speak to are really into demonology and feel
Empath.
yeah.
Like, empathic, and
You're I guess you're kind of in the same boat that we are when you say Tully, like
yeah. Like you're interested in it, but like
Yeah. I mean, I
not-
do believe that I'm sensitive in a sense where spirits, I guess, find it easier to approach me. And I get that a lot. Like a lot of my viewers will say that, like in my videos, I get a lot more responses than that of your average paranormal adventure, paranormal investigator. Like they're drawn to me, like I'm easy to talk to. But like my mother and my grandmother definitely have that gift. Like they're super sensitive, excuse me, when it comes to spirits. They're always seeing things, hearing things, and they're always feeling like the vibes, and I mean constantly. I don't have it nearly as much as they do, but I do believe that I do have a sensitive side that they feel comfortable coming to me and talking to me.
I don't think I have anything like that. People just generally, even people that's alive, don't like coming around me too often.
So just so we can give a shout out, what's the little fella's name behind you there?
That's Mickey. That's my daughter's cat.
Oh,
But
well,
he's a traitor because he traded, like he gave her up and now he's up my butt all the time.
well, we'll have to give a little credit to Mickey for joining us on the
So have your thoughts on the supernatural, have they changed over time? I mean, like as you've been out on these adventures?
Yes,
What do you think
definitely.
contributes to these experiences?
Just I guess the different locations and the different ways of investigating and just the many experiences that I have had, which are not, I can't say that I've had, other than seeing my grandmother, it's not like I've actually run into an actual apparition or anything like that on any of these investigations. We have caught what we believe was an apparition at one point when we were kind of walking, and we didn't catch it at the time. I caught it during editing, and it looked like just a person standing there, like off in the distance, white from head to toe, and they were just standing there. And the cemetery that we were in is well known for seeing the lady in white. So it was all white, and we were just like walking down this path, and then it just disappeared. Like in the video, which is still on my channel, you can actually see it disappear, like just goes away. So that was interesting. And as far as apparitions or anything concrete, we caught that. But the more experiences I have, the more I'm just like, yeah, this is legit. This is, the real deal. So.
To your knowledge, have you had any sort of spirits latch on and maybe like follow you home or any after
No,
effects?
no, knock on wood too. And it's funny because I was interviewed last night on Parapalooza, and they asked me the same question. And I was actually in a cemetery last night when I was doing that interview,
Wow.
and I was like praying when I got out of there. I was like, they asked that question while I was here. I hope to God nothing, because I mean, we try to cover all bases. We pray when we get there, we pray when we leave, and I often wear jewelry that, with crystals, and my husband has a crucifix around his neck. So again, we try to cover all bases as far as that goes so that we can make sure that nobody follows us home. We say out loud, you're not allowed to follow us. You're not allowed to attach yourself to us. You must stay here. You don't have our permission, blah, blah, blah. But we went on an investigation almost 2 weeks ago, and we did a collaboration with Vinny from Lost Souls Paranormal. And something attached to him the night that we all went out, because he got back home later on that night. He did a live stream because he always talks about his investigations when he gets home. He starts a live stream to talk about them. And he just started like feeling funny and acting funny. And then he just stopped talking, and he just started staring off into the distance. And it was really weird. And I felt so responsible. I'm like, oh my God, like he was with me when this happened, like, but nothing attached to me or my husband. So I guess a few friends of him helped him through it, and he's okay now. But nothing has ever attached to me, and I hope to God it never does. I try to make sure that that never happens. But, there are spirits out there that are stubborn and they don't listen, and I
What
hope I
about
never come across one.
what about anything malevolent so far?
Nothing. I've not run into anything evil or any demons or anything that I know of yet. Um, Everything's pretty much been peaceful. A lot of times, I think the most angry responses or feelings that we get are that they just want us to leave. And then we get that a lot over the spirit box. They'll say leave. And then as soon as we start hearing them say that, then we'll respect that and we'll say, okay, we're gonna, wrap it up. If there's anything you want to say last minute, let us know and we'll get out of your hair. But no, nothing too bad. And again, I hope that does not happen.
I hope it doesn't either. Like, there was a instance that I used to go out having fun with my friends, ghost hunting, and I totally blocked this out of my mind until we had our friend on that was with me, and he brought it back up, and I forgot all about it.
Mm-hmm.
We went to the graveyard that's down the road from where I live right now, and there's a bunch of graves that just say like unknown baby, unknown man, because whenever they built the lake over here, they just dug up these bodies and planted them over here.
Mm-hmm.
This one particular night, we was over there ghost hunting, and we seen a green light shoot through the sky, and it like kind of exploded like a meteor or something. But
Wow.
and when we was leaving, because he got scared and decided it was time to go. So when we was leaving, he said I started swerving. He got me to pull over, and I had a handprint right here on my stomach, and he said that he could smell like what did he say it smelled like?
Oh shoot!
He said it smelled like something like burnt flesh, basically.
Ooh.
And I don't remember it at all. Like I barely remember it. But when he brought it up, I was like, "Oh yeah, that did happen."
I was in that session with him, and he was like, he had almost like totally forgot it.
Yeah.
And he was when the guy we had with us brought it up, he was like, "Oh yeah, I do remember that." And I was like,
That's crazy.
Very faint memory. Like I don't recall much of it, but I remember that.
Wow.
I don't think anything attached to me though. I think maybe it tried. Maybe
Something was just messing with you.
Maybe, yeah, it's possible.
That's scary.
It's
I
probably,
struggle a little bit with like, one of the things that I think about is like, are spirits able to leave the locations that they're in? Like if we think about like what bounds them there,
Right.
or I guess what bonds them there. In a graveyard, obviously it's human remains, but I guess it just like I can't really wrap my mind around how things follow people home.
they just,
Mhm.
I guess, right?
And
Like, they
that's
just latch on.
and like Tully and well, all of us have had this discussion before. We know instances of people having spirits attached to them, but our debate has always been: can they leave without attaching to something? Are they chained there, or can they? Like I think one example was the prison in Nashville, Tennessee. We were talking about how like if it was very haunted. Like if spirits were there, ghosts were there. If they tore that physical building down, do the spirits stay there? Do they have to attach to another source of energy?
I've often thought the same
about
thing.
I mean,
Yeah, I've often thought the same thing. Like as far as cemeteries go, where spirits haunt cemeteries, I actually have a theory on that. But like if a spirit is attached to a certain place, and say, if I go into that place and they like me, like there's something about me that draws them to me, they might become comfortable enough to stay with me, I guess, or come home with me, or just stick with me, which would be, I guess, attaching themselves to me. I guess it depends on the person. But so, okay, my theory on like if they take the building down, for example, like if somebody died and that building was a significant landmark to them when they were alive, so they're gonna, their spirit is gonna stay there. But again, like you said, they tore the building down. I personally think that they're going to go to either a loved one, if they still have loved ones that are, alive, living, or they're going to go to where they're buried. Now, cemeteries, I always find that I have more luck in older cemeteries rather than, newer ones or recent burial cemeteries. Because again, the people that are buried in older cemeteries, 1800s, early 1900s, nowadays they don't have family living. I mean, they do, but it's how many generations ahead. The people that they knew, the landmarks that they knew, everything that they knew when they were living are gone. And, their family and possibly their friends and people that they knew were all buried together in that cemetery. So I think that at that point, they're going to stay together in the place where they're together, I guess, buried. So that's why I think the older cemeteries are the most haunted. And that's just where they stay because that's where everybody that they knew when, they were alive are.
That makes
If
sense.
that makes sense. I actually made a whole video on that theory because I've had a lot of people say that to me. I don't understand why, a spirit would want to haunt their own grave. Wouldn't they want to go to a family member or a landmark? And I'm like, you know what? You're right for, spirits that still have something in the living world, but there's a lot that don't. So where are they going to go if they don't cross over, of course? But yeah,
So
I made a video on that because I got so many questions on it.
Do you think that crossing over is a choice?
No, I mean, I think that crossing over, personally, I think that if a spirit wants to cross over, it would need help doing so. I personally believe that, unexpected death, like suicide, murder, car accidents, things like that, unexpected deaths. I personally think that they have trouble crossing over because it wasn't their time to go yet. So their soul lives on as their life was supposed to live on. But if you die, of a natural cause or something, God called you up, I believe that it's a lot easier for them to make that choice on whether or not they want to stay or cross over because it was their time.
That makes sense. And that reference in that episode that we did, it was a Would You Rather episode. I'm gonna ask you this question because I'm kind of curious on Tully and Jeremy's response too. If you were a ghost, would you rather be bound to a house, to an hotel, or to a camp?
A camp?
Like a camp.
Like camping.
Yeah, like a camp you go to, like a Bible camp or something.
That's really random.
Your Sunday outing place.
Yeah, where you go park. What do you think? Which one?
I'll let Jenny go first.
Oh gosh. I'd probably have to say a house because there's more life in a house.
All right.
I've already gave my answer.
Yeah, you already gave your answer. Jeremy?
So I was thinking about this, and I want to classify. This is my own head canon.
Jeremy
Classify
is a
ghost
thinker.
What's that?
Jeremy's a critical thinker.
I was the wandering aspect of it. That it intrigues me because I'm a homebody by choice, and the choice is kind of gone now. But I figured I would be a homebody ghost, but for we'll say the vacationing ghosts that do wander, I like to think that they have like a Ring doorbell system set up at their gravesite, so when people do visit, they're able just to quickly jump back in and just
Oh my gosh.
communicate.
Like a little ghost alarm.
Yeah.
Like, do you think it's like the Batman symbol? Like it just flashes up like a beam of light, and they're like,
oh my gosh. So all the other ghosts in the cemetery can see it. Someone's coming.
It's something that goes, "You've got mail."
What do you think, Tully? What about you?
Bar.
Well,
Well, yeah, if that was an option, I mean, yeah, of course a bar.
He's going to Bobby Mackey's.
Yeah, I'm going to Bobby Mackey's, dude.
I picked the campground because I don't know what happens whenever they demolish the houses or buildings, is why I brought it up.
I said hotel because I always wanted to see new people. There'd be somebody new in the room every day. So,
Well, you see new people at the park.
Well,
yeah, but not that frequently. This is like every day. Always keeps you on your toes as a ghost.
and that goes into this next question because the reason I picked the campground is how long are you a ghost? Like eventually life on Earth is going to be wiped off. Everything's going to start to crumble. And when those things crumble, do you go with them, or do you ascend, or do you just kind of linger, or do you decompress to one singularity? Like, you don't know. But on
Yeah.
the land, you just stand there, you know.
This might be a good time. Might be a good time for Uncle Dave's crazy conspiracy theories.
Uncle Dave's crazy conspiracies.
Here's my theory.
All right.
I think that, and you're going back to the graveyard thing, how the older graveyards are more active and the newer ones aren't. So if there's such a thing as purgatory, they have to fulfill their time in purgatory before they can become a spirit back on the earthly plane.
Oh.
And that's why older cemeteries are more haunted.
That's
Now-
a good way of looking at it. Yeah.
Right. That was this episode's Uncle Dave's crazy conspiracy.
And so back to the questions. So when it comes to ghosts and everything like that, do you think actual spirits are intelligent, or do you just think that they're mainly like the energy imprints, like non-intelligent, basically, like on repeat?
That's actually a good question. I don't know, to be honest with you. I've never really come across anything too intelligent, other than obviously some of the EVPs that I've gotten to confirm that, you know, they know what's going on, they can hear what's going on. But I mean, I don't know, to be completely honest. That's a tough question. I think I would have to see something more concrete in order to make that determination. But I guess it also depends on the type of person that they were when they were alive as well. You know, what did they do in life? What did they accomplish? How old were they? You know, just all kinds of different factors I think would play into that.
You know, I don't remember who it was, but they felt like it's both. Like, and they think that the actual ghosts, like the spirits, are typically like the energy imprints, but the way that they think that the intelligent spirits are, they think it's basically interdimensional beings.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was Julie, maybe.
So that might make, so that kind of makes sense too. Do you believe in like the interdimensional stuff? Like, do you think it's possible that there might be a crossing over dimensions and everything?
Absolutely, I do. Yes, I think that there's layers and layers, honestly.
Like a pasta or a, what all those things? Not pasta.
Lasagna.
Lasagna. Layers of different things going on in that lasagna.
Pasta.
A pasta just like a mixed up mess, right?
We can always count on you for the best metaphors of things.
It's kind of like a pasta, you know.
Yeah. You got the cheese, that was back in the 1950s, and then you got the hamburger, the ground beef, that was in the 1970s.
Right.
Could be.
Makes
I
perfect
feel like
sense.
that might be like a time lapse too. You never know. It could be. I mean, there's so many different things that happen in this world that you never know.
I often wonder that too. I mean, maybe it's not paranormal, maybe it's something, you know, as far as a different realm from like a time lapse or something. You never know. That's what's so mysterious about it.
Yeah, it's pretty fun to think about. Like, I don't know. It's probably wherever what people think UFOs are come from, in my mind, more likely. Not from outer space, that doesn't exist, but from this other dimension. I like seeing Jeremy turn red when I say that. It's funny.
Yeah. Yeah. So Cecil doesn't believe birds are real either, by the way.
They're not. Do you think they're real? I mean,
I think there's one outside my window right now, actually.
well, I mean, you can reach out and touch them, but they're not like evolutionary creatures or put here by a specific being like we
Well,
were.
what about like pet birds?
Pet birds are there to monitor your matrix within your house, make sure that you're not having glitches.
There,
Because I've noticed that people that have pet birds have less crazy stuff happen.
if you got
Wait.
He's done
Yeah.
studies.
I can't say I've never had a pet bird, so I don't know.
So
we're gonna need to see the stats on that.
they have less crazy stuff happen. Like, what kind of crazy stuff?
Well, you remember how my dog, I've got two dogs. I got a little dog and a big dog. My little dog somehow opened my big dog's cage and crawled in there with him and closed the cage back.
Aw.
And you're saying that could have been avoided had you had a pet bird.
If I had a pet bird, it would have reported the glitch to the mainframe, and it would have corrected itself.
Oh my goodness.
Do you
That's
know?
great.
That's what would have happened.
I gotta say, I've never heard anybody say that before.
Well,
Why we hang out with this fella? That is
He's great.
interesting.
But
we do conspiracies in addition to the paranormal, so it's always good when we can have people on to pity Cecil.
Well, I mean that's also a really good segue into the question of why don't you think like the sciences, the traditional studies, they won't sort of lean into these fringe ideas, not necessarily as fringe as the birds aren't real, but the
the science is there.
apparitions and
The signs.
Yeah, why they lean more towards like evolution and things.
well, just they sort of downplay it as no, it's not real, or there's no real investigation into it, like from a like an educational purpose
Or like a logical standpoint.
yeah.
Hmm.
It's Paris like science instead of something that's acknowledged as being real.
Right, yeah. I mean, I really don't know why they would want to deny that or even try and look into it further to confirm that for the rest of the world or whatever. But if I had to take a guess, I would think that they would think that it would distract people into maybe concentrating on that more and not really concentrating on what's going on in life. And I mean, I really don't know. I mean, a lot of science is ran by the government. So, you know,
Here
the
we go.
government,
Here we go.
I don't really want to get too far into that, but I mean, I'm going to say it. I really think that the government has a lot to do with that. And I really think that the government knows a lot that we don't. And, you know, particularly when it comes to, you know, extraterrestrials, life on other planets, Area 51, all of that stuff. And I would think that that would be paranormal included. Not exactly sure, but I really think that I
I
think the
agree.
government has a lot to do with that.
And you know, there was a point in time whenever technology was kicking off, like really solid, and they were on the fringe of science or whatever. These parapsychologists and everything like that, they were inventing things to where I can't remember the scientist's name that invented the box, like it was a TV essentially, where you could talk and see a ghost. Like
Oh yeah, like on
and-
the movie White Noise, I think it is.
yeah. That really happened, and then the government swoops in and it disappears. This would have
Yeah.
happened back in the 40s or so. So if they had it then, and we're always 30 years behind whatever they got, imagine what they have now. And Nikola Tesla, I think, is the one that invented the box to where you could see in the past and things of that nature, like see resonance and things of that nature. But of
Oh,
course,
I didn't know that.
everybody knows Donald Trump's uncle confiscated all Nikola Tesla's stuff, so we'll never know what happens there.
Mm.
But yeah, I think that a lot of like the paranormal stuff, because even the government bought Skinwalker Ranch, for example, for a while, you know. So
Yeah, that's sketchy. Definitely sketchy for sure.
when it comes to a piece of land and this thing that's not supposed to exist, why would the government even buy it? You know, totally thinks it's because of the gold, which it could be.
Yeah, but there's got to be a reason.
I do.
Gold.
Gold.
Lots of gold.
There's gold in them there hills.
There's
And-
another ranch right next to that one where literally that's all they're doing is trying to find gold, whether it be in the ground or imported. Like they've already found a Spanish doubloon that shouldn't have been there in a cave, in an underwater cave on
Oh wow,
the ranch next to it. I think we're going to do an episode about that in the future.
that'll be cool.
And when it comes to like spirits and everything like that. Do you think that humans can have a solid, like a real good influence on the locations, like maybe by summoning them to that location or through witchcraft or anything like that?
I mean, witchcraft and things, I don't know. I'm not really into any of that. I've never gotten into any of that. I'm not educated enough as far as that goes. Um, but me, for example, I believe that, say if I'm in a specific area and I want to contact somebody who's, died on the other side of the world, for example, I believe that if you, with the help of other spirits, you can eventually get their attention. And, I mean, I'm not going to say that they're going to jump on their ghost jet and fly over to where you are, but I think that they do have a way of communicating with you without actually having to be there.
Yeah.
So again, I think with the help of other spirits and really, trying to communicate, like sometimes it's taken me more than an hour to try to communicate with a specific spirit. But I do believe that eventually, yeah, you can influence them to be in certain spots or speak to them when you're in certain areas and things like that. And I apologize if you guys hear yelling. Somebody is outside my window yelling, and I have no idea who it is.
Florida.
So. You got it.
So one thing that I wanted to get into was the randonauting. So I had a personal experience where I almost got killed with randonautica. So I haven't done it anymore.
Oh my gosh.
So
I blame you.
So it was taking us to a place super crazy country back road, no median line. It's one lane road, and there's a blonde curve, and the location's like off to the left. So like we're slowing down, and this person comes around this blonde curve, and literally sideways, like they were driving so fast, and they narrowly missed us, and we were feet from the destination. So
my God, that's
after
crazy.
That, I haven't done it anymore, but tell us about your experience with it.
Well, to be completely honest, I haven't had much luck with randonautica. I've gone randonauting, I believe, 4 times. All 4 times I filmed the experience, and all 4 videos are on my channel. And the very first time I went randonauting, it was okay. Like our first intention was the color, like mine was the color red and my husband's was the color blue. And it took us to a house, and hanging on either side of the garage were 2 lanterns. One was red and one was blue. And then right next door to that house was another house, and the house itself was blue and the door was red. So we were kind of freaked out by that, and we're like, okay, let's do some more. And then like our intention was water. It brought us to like the pin landed on someone's house, but when you pull up around the corner where it takes you, like you can see their pool, like their swimming pool was right there. But then after that, like that was it. Like nothing happened. I think we tried like 4 or 5 more times. Nothing was happening. We gave up. And then we went again. I was getting a lot of requests from my viewers to go randonauting because a lot of YouTubers are randonauting right now. It's like a big deal. It's a big thing. And I'm like, I don't know, like nothing happens when I go. So I'll try again. And I did. Nothing happened. I mean, again, my videos, even though nothing happened, I still uploaded my videos. And I would still get requests to go randonauting. And I'm like, guys, you saw in my video, like you're just going to watch me driving around, literally. And they're like, yeah, but we like watching you like go to different places. It's the adventure. And I'm like, okay. So again, I think I went 2 more times after that. Nothing happened. So I'm just really on the fence about it because I know people who like personally know people who go randonauting that I know would never fake it, and they get success. And of course there are YouTubers that go randonauting that they're faking it, but
Yes.
so I mean for me, I just don't know if maybe my big break for randonautica hasn't happened yet, and I just should keep trying. But I'm just going to say that I'm on the fence about it because only a few things happened and they weren't anything too significant. And for the most part, nothing happens. It takes me to somebody's house or like a parking lot. And like when we go to somebody's house, I'm not going to get out and walk around because I mean, hello, I'm in Florida and gun laws and everything. No, thank you. But like parking lots and stuff, like we'll get out and we'll look around and there's just like nothing. So,
That's kind of what I was thinking. Like you said it took you to a pool. Did you walk to the pool?
well, no, because the pool was on somebody's property.
Yeah.
It was like at somebody's house. So,
There's a chance that you might have had success with it, but you would probably have to walk to it because
right.
the people that's in Seattle or whatever that did it, they found a body.
In the
So,
suitcase, yeah.
So I mean, some telling what was in that pool. So it might be a good thing you haven't had success with it.
Yeah, I mean, if that's the case, I'm glad.
So what do you think the future of your channel is?
Well, actually, right now, my dog is whining, by the way, in case you hear him. Right now, I am concentrating on traveling. I have some collaborations in the works coming up with, I don't know if you're familiar with Wacky Witch TV. She's out in California, and we've been talking about getting together, me flying out there and doing some different places. There's a few places that I can't say of, but we definitely want to try and get on the Queen Mary. And Forest Lawn Cemetery, I've always wanted to go there. That's the cemetery where all the celebrities and
Do you watch
people are buried.
Do you watch Hollywood graveyard tours?
No, but I've heard of it.
You
I
need
haven't
to.
seen it though.
If you love graveyards as much as you say you do, you would love Hollywood graveyard tours. It's not just graveyards in Hollywood, but this guy goes all over the world just exploring graveyards and telling you about the people.
Is this a YouTube channel?
Yep.
Oh, okay, cool. I'll
Yep.
look for that.
You said you wanted to go to the Queen Mary. Like I said, I spoke with Adam last week, and he said that the most terrifying experience he ever had was at the Queen Mary. So
A lot of people say that have been there, yes.
yeah, so have fun with that. Be careful.
We'll have to do
Yeah.
a follow-up after you get back from that.
Definitely, absolutely.
On one of your videos, I've seen that you contacted XXX Tenacion. Is that how you say it?
Tentacion.
Sion.
Tentacion, yeah.
Do you
I mean,
a
I
lot of-
believe that was him.
Do you reach out to a lot of celebrities like that have passed?
I mean, not really. It was a request. Somebody actually contacted me and requested to see if I can contact Shanann Watts and her daughters. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that case. That's it's on Netflix. There's a thing. It's called The American Murder or
Yeah,
An American
terrible.
Murder. It explains that. Yeah. So it was crazy because I mean, it took me a while to have them come through if it was them, which I do believe it was, because the kid voices I was getting was insane. I was getting confirmation like names. They were actually saying Bella and Cece. It was just, I've never gotten so many child responses over the spirit box ever until that time. So I said, well, this is really cool. And a lot of people liked it. So then I got a request to contact, what's her first name? Her last name is Rivera. She's the one that was on Glee. She died and she drowned when her and her son were out boating. And
Oh yeah, that was pretty mysterious, wasn't it? Because
Yeah.
the daughter was still in the boat and she just was gone.
yeah, well, it was her son, her and
Oh,
her
okay.
son, and he was only, I think, 2 or 3 years old.
Yeah.
And when the boat wasn't returned on time because it was a rental, they sent somebody out on the water to look, and he was actually in the boat wrapped up in a towel sleeping.
Wow.
She was nowhere to be found, and it was said that he was on the boat by himself for about 5 hours. So they ended up finding her, and they ruled it out as a drowning. But anyway, so I mean, I had somebody ask me if I could contact her, and I gave that a shot. I had some success, and then XXX Tentacion, I got a request from, I think, that one. Somebody seen that one and asked me. So I don't usually do those unless I get a request. but I think I've only done those three as far as well, celebrities or, famous deaths or murders, things like that.
Oh, that's cool. Do you ever get up to the Glades any?
To the what? Oh,
To
the
the,
Everglades?
yeah.
No, I haven't been there yet, but I don't live very far from the Everglades. I am about maybe an hour west of the Everglades.
Whenever you go out there, look for that skunk ape. I want to see if you find that.
The
I love
skunk ape?
I love to go back to the Glades, but when I was a little kid, I almost got killed in the Glades.
Mm.
I was busting gator eggs and that's how that goes.
Making omelets.
No, I was just being a little 4-year-old kid. I found some gator eggs in a culvert. I didn't know what they were, and I was busting them. And my dad grabbed me by my luscious white hair I had at the time and drugged me up and took off running. And I remember looking behind him, and there's a gator chasing after us.
Man, and they can run faster than you
Oh,
think.
yeah, for sure. He was high stepping. So when it comes down to it, like you already said what you expect your future of your channel to do and everything. Are you going to like expand past like the investigations and stuff, or
I mean, as far as the channel that I have right now, I'm going to continue to just dedicate that to investigations and contacting the paranormal. But I do have another channel coming out soon, where I'll mostly be talking about murder mysteries, true crime, and things like that.
that's
Okay.
all?
Yeah, that is cool.
Those things fascinate me so much.
Us too.
Yeah.
Where can everybody find all your stuff at?
I am everywhere. I am on YouTube. I am on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Twitter. And I plan to soon be on Patreon. And you can find me Jenny Love Paranormal TV across the board.
Nice.
Awesome. And
We're also on Parapost as well. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. That's a social media platform. It's almost like, Facebook, Twitter, but it's called Parapost. It's brand new. And I believe Huntophobia, Paraflix, they're all involved in creating that. And it's, again, that just came out a few months ago. You can get it as an app on your phone, or you can use it on PC. And I'm also Jenny Love Paranormal TV on that as well.
when you do your Patreon, what kind of material are you going to put up there? Just more in-depth investigations and things of that nature?
Yeah, I think basically, just sneak peeks, early videos, you can watch it early, and behind the scenes, things like that, things that I won't release on YouTube.
That'd be awesome. Let us know when that comes out. I'd be interested in checking that out.
Definitely.
And as always, you can find us on all listening platforms. You can find us on YouTube as well. And thank you so much for watching us, because we're watching you.